This is Series 1, Episode 72. In this video I'm going to be talking about a company called Clear Secure. Now, the format of this video is I will talk about the company, then I'll go into some of the fundamentals, then I'll go into the technicals, so you can make an informed decision. So this is a new company to the stock market, but it was actually formed in 2010 and has been doing quite well, and it's recently been listed on the stock market as an IPO. It came to market at the end of June 2021, so it definitely carries more risk than usual than most of the trades I ever talk about. So this is a high risk, high reward trade idea. I want to make that very, very obvious. High risk, high reward on this trade. So what do they do? Well, it's a service that allows users to rock up to a US airport, come to one of these terminals, and the terminal scans their biometrics, and they can bypass security. They have their own dedicated lane. They don't have to take off their shoes and socks and go through all the scanners. This thing does it all for them. So let's just look at the website here, and it's just walk through what it actually happens. So biometrics are identified, such as your eyes, face, and fingerprints. Clear transforms your biometrics into an encrypted code. And then we match your eyes and face to your unique code every time you check in. So it just means you bypass everything and it's really, really quick. And from what I understand, there's over 4.6 million users of this service at the moment, but most people use it as a business expense. But it's a very interesting company, as far as I can see. Now you'd think with the COVID situation of the last year and a half, this would suffer, this company, because it's reliant upon people turning up at airports and there's been no travel, well, little travel. So another thing that's caught my eye about this company is the fact that they've come up with a new product that is highly correlated to the COVID-19 situation. So that product is what they call Health Pass, and if I scroll down slightly on their website, you can see it integrates lab results. So it's basically using the biometrics along with your results from COVID-19 tests, and it's keeping it all on the system, a secure system. And one that this is allowing, and this is really interesting, is that you can. This is only available in the US at the moment, but you can go into a stadium as long as they participate with Clear Secure. I believe the NFL have signed up to this. A user of the service can go to an NFL stadium and bypass all the queues, go straight to this Clear Secure terminal and use the service, and it will say whether or not they're clear for COVID, and it's got all the biometrics. So it's just a really quick way of getting into a stadium, for example. So the potential is huge for that. The more companies that sign up to it, but the fact that the NFL's on board is also a very positive sign for this company. So for an IPO, so far so good. Let me start talking about some of the financials. This is Yahoo's finance site again. There isn't a great deal of information here because it's such a new company. Net income is the only thing I'm looking at here. 28 was negative before, so that's positive. Good. Let me look at the institutional holders. There shouldn't be anything. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because it's so new, you're not going to see this information. So you can see it says 62.37% of the shares are held by institutions. Well, although you can't see the names here, I did some checks myself, and I do know for a fact that there's two big names behind this. One is T. Rowe, and the other name is Invesco. They have two very big investment institutions, and they're already behind this IPO that's only a month old. So that's really positive, and it's not something you see very often with IPOs. So more positive news. So we've got that COVID-19 Health Pass. So they're diversifying into different products, and then you've got institutional ownership as well, which is also really good. Just want to show you some historical information as well around the volume of the stock, just because it shows you that there's buying and selling going on. So the stock came to market, as I said, at the end of June, and obviously it's high volume as it comes to market. 9 million, 5 million, 1 million, and then it tapers off. But what you'll notice is recently, and today's the 7th of August as I do this video, Look at the volume for the 2nd of August. It started to increase and it's steady here. So another, it just shows you that there's eyeballs on this stock at the moment. Okay, now I'm going to move on to my favourite part, which is talking about the technicals. So I will talk about the technicals, talk about a possible trade idea. Now, as I say in every single video, I have to say it as a disclaimer, if you decide to take any action on any of the information I'm about to provide, that is your decision. Everything I talk about is for informational purposes only. You are responsible for your own trading decisions. And before I start delving deeper into this, you should also know that there's an earnings report, very important. Earnings is due on the 16th of August. Now that could be a catalyst to move this up or down. You just don't know. So all I'm going to do is show you what I'm seeing, give you a possible idea, and then you can make a decision. So let me draw in a horizontal line, because obviously as the stock came to market, a high was formed here. Very important, and I'll explain why. So with any IPO, obviously a lot of novices will try and think like Reddit users. They will just jump into a stock and hope it's going to go and move higher. Well, often the stock will go higher, a new stock, an IPO stock, which this is, and then drop significantly, like you saw here. Let me just change this. Big drop, nasty. If you're in up here all happy and then it just suddenly drops down here, it's not very nice, is it? But compared to some IPOs, that's not a significant drop, if I'm honest, when I look at that. But anyway, let me just make this slightly thicker. What's interesting for me is the fact that we're holding above this resistance. So that is what you call an IPO base, where a base is formed, created a high, and now we're above the high. That's the high. And price is above it. Now you could draw something like this, because I'm just going to make this obvious. Let me see if I can do this with, no, I'll just do it freehand. So if I take these points and try and draw them up, obviously I'm not doing this brilliantly because I'm using my mouse, but you see it, draw those points up. And price is sort of contained. Potentially it could do this for a couple of days. I don't know, guys, I'm just saying what it might happen. And then break out. But I prefer to draw in a box. So we take the high up here, and you can do all this on your own Yahoo Finance charts. That's exactly why I use these charts, so that you can follow the same charts. That's also why I call myself the Caveman trader, because I like to keep things simple. So we got a box here. I'll just draw major support, a major resistance, a major support, and then we got to see what happens inside this box. Could break out, could break down. Now, I'm going to start talking about a trade idea now as to where you might want to get in or get out. And like I say, it's up to you if you take that information and use it. But this is going to be volatile. Look at this move in one day, 8%. So if you're going to get in on this trade, you must be aware of the volatility. Now for me, the perfect entry is I'd love to see the price drop down, back down to the bottom of this box near this $50 level. Near that level there. So ideally it'd be nice to see it here. I'm not saying it's going to do that, I'm just saying that would be a really nice low risk entry. None of it's low risk, but it's lower than being up here. So if we see price down here at this level, then that looks like a nice area. Let me bring a calculator up on the screen. I'm going to try and explain some risk and reward here. So let's assume, just hypothetically, I get in at $55. 55. I don't want to take much more than a 20% loss. So let's deduct 20% of that. So deduct 20%, and we get 44. So that is where I would have my stop loss. I hate talking about stop losses, especially on YouTube, but stop loss down here, that's nice because all this volatility, if price breaks down here a little bit and then goes back up, your stop's out of the way. But I wouldn't want to get my stop much further than 20% away, because this could absolutely easily collapse because it's an IPO. So stop loss in this example, entry at 55 and stop loss at 44. Obviously if I manage to get even lower, then I could put my stop lower. Just giving you ideas. You don't want to risk any more than 20% on one trade idea. Right, so now what do I want to do? I'll use the same example and say 55 is the entry. Now I want to try to get more than I risk. So I want to add a minimum of 20% to the entry, and that would take me up to 66, which we've almost already hit. So I would like to see this stock, if I get in on it at 55 or lower, I would want to see a 20% reward as an absolute minimum. 20% reward and a 20% risk. Then you've got 1-to-1 risk reward. Trading is all about risk reward. So this is what I'm trying to explain. And obviously if it goes down here, it's just not worth the risk, guys, because it could just collapse down to $10. You just don't know. So we've got this box. I've done all the possible analysis I can do. We've got that trend line across there. We've got this box. Perfect entry is $50. Let me just draw that in, because it's a round number and it's just below this major resistance. I really hope I'm explaining this well. So $50 entry is the perfect entry. That would all be up to you, because it might not even go back down, it might go straight up, I don't know. So there's the idea, guys. Don't risk too much on this if you're going to take it. Maximum 20% risk, minimum 20% reward. If you might even be able to get double that, because it's an IPO and it just might rocket. You just do not know with IPOs. So there's the trade idea. I've thought about it long and hard. I've explained the stock. It is high risk. I'm saying it again, very high risk, because it's an IPO. But it's very high reward on an IPO, because if it breaks out, the chances are it will break out with volume, so you can make your money and get out as quickly as possible on an IPO. So there it is. I think this is one of the first ones I've done for a long time, an IPO. I don't like to talk about them too much, but this looks so good, I want to talk about it. So there it is, guys, an IPO, clear, secure. That's the best possible entry I can get. It's $50. So if you like what I'm doing, please like and subscribe. Please comment. I always appreciate comments. And of course, I wish you the best of luck with this trade. And I'll speak to you soon. Thank you for watching.